Hello YouTube friends. This year, 2026, is a milestone year for me. I've been a Christian for 40 years this year. On the 5th of May 1986, I invited Jesus into my life and my life changed instantly. And I want to tell you my story over a series of videos, and I hope you're going to stick with me as I share some of the things. But just to give you some highlights, I was a school bully, and I went from school bully to an honoured and awarded youth worker, working with some young people that were like me when I was growing up. So I want to share some of that. My story is a story of living in fear and going to living in God's presence. Wow, what a difference that is. And from living with a life-limiting illness to living with unlimited creativity, or at least that's what it feels like sometimes, unlimited creativity, because the things I create with the help of God Almighty. And I think, His power is unlimited, and He shares that power with us. I want to share some of that with you. I want to tell you my story that includes getting a kidney transplant, a heart surgery, escaping death several times, visiting the tunnel of light, the approach road to heaven. And I want to tell you many stories of miracles and blessings that I've experienced. I call my story Broken to Beloved for a reason. And although I call it my story, it's actually God's story. He blessed me with it, and I give Him all the glory for giving me the story that I'm about to share with you over a series of videos. And I'm going to include the battles and the pain and all the struggles. I'm not going to leave any of that out as I reveal my story, my testimony, and I hope that it blesses you. I'm going to start with my earliest childhood memory. I don't know if you can remember your earliest childhood memory, but mine is very vivid. It still is very vivid. And I was about four years old, and my dad, as I grew up, my dad was an alcoholic, and I lived. The reason why I said I lived with fear is because when my dad was drunk, he became a violent person. And so you grow up living in fear. And my earliest childhood memory, before I go on to that and leave you thinking, oh, his dad was an alcoholic, life must have been bad, and how did his dad end up? Well, I'm going to tell you right now at the start, my dad actually stopped drinking at a certain time in my life, and he became an amazing dad. But I'm going to tell you his story as well, as I try not to well up and share some of the things in my life that have happened. So my earliest childhood memory is my dad returning from the pub. I was 4 years old, and it was about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and his Sunday lunch, his Sunday roast, my mum had put it in the oven to try to keep it hot for him, but it had been hours and it had dried up, and the peas had gone like bullets, and it was just inedible. You couldn't eat it. And he came back and he sat down, looked at his Sunday roast, and he was just angry and violent. And I can remember him picking it up and throwing it through the living room window. It was a big pane of glass, and he threw it through the window. This is 1964 we're talking about here, and the window smashed, and the roast dinner landed on the front lawn, and the neighbours said nothing. That was the way it was in the 60s. Domestic violence happened, nobody reported it, no police arrived, but it sat in my head and it gave me a grounding that this is what life is all about. And I grew up thinking that violence is normal, and I became quite violent. So I'm going to read a poem for you that kind of sums up my life when I was age 12 to 14, and I'm going to tell you why I'm reading poetry as well later on in my story. I will tell you that when I got kicked out of school, I hated poetry, but when I became a Christian, God blessed me with a gift of rhyming words. That's another story I'm going to share with you. So I always say that God has a sense of humour. This is 12 to 14. Fear and violence, living in silence, afraid to speak out, defensive, defiance. I need a license to scream and shout. Sleep with a knife, ready to fight. I don't know that it's not right. Need control in my life. I take control and hurt again. Violence remains as I create a greater pain. I control the pain, but there is no release. Self-harm is a temporary peace. Life's a loveless curse. Find comfort from a nurse. Fear just grows worse. In need of control to crawl from the hole, I fight with every soul. A newfound power, I fully take control and bully. Now I spread the fear. I am in control. Still feel stuck in the darkest hole. From victim to perpetrator, seen as a people hater. I was abused, nothing to lose. It's not an excuse. Living with violence, fear and silence. A kid that's not so nice. A fool that carries a knife. I think I'll end my life. What would be gained? I'm on the way to meet a train. Do I really need to explain? I had a messed up brain, a messed up head. I cried instead. I confessed my mess to a man on the phone and then returned safely home. The violence silenced within the year. Slowly, I stopped living in fear. No one knew how death was so near. I almost paid the ultimate price from 12 to 14. This was my life. Subscribe now to catch the whole story, my story of what God has done in my life to give him the glory. I'll see you again soon.